So a better morning, everyone. Because we are now done with our brainstorming, you will be asked an analysis questions that will help us know what we have understand on our interview recently. So for our first question for Miss Iname Pactor, so what problems did Buog National High School have?
So the first problem that the Buog National High School have is the dropout of the students. Next, they also have the low mean percentage, especially in national achievement test. Third is the students' misbehavior or the lack of discipline. And the fourth one is the limited availability of instructional tools. They also have problems when it comes to the teaching incapabilities. And lastly, the work ethics of the teachers. So that's all.
So for Miss Lyka Saldariega, for number two question, what did Mrs. Claudio, the school head, do to address the problems?
Okay, so what Mrs. Claudia did was that first she identified the issues and the problems. Next is that she identified the root causes on where these problems came from. And next, she made use of possible solutions. She think of possible solutions for the problems with involvement of internal and external stakeholders. So lastly, she executed and implemented plans for this. It's just like, for example, on the problems concerning the dropout in the school, they do home visitations that was led by the door coordinators and with the barangay officials to monitor the students' activities. And also in the case of low mean percentage scores, they conduct remediation program and I-read program to enhance the curricular performance of the students. And next, for the lack of instructional materials, they do resources generation program wherein they would solicit and receive donations from the government, for example. And lastly, for the incapability of employees, they conducted inset program twice a year, LAC or Learning Action Cell, and mentoring to address problems and share strategies to develop teaching skills. So that's it for how Mrs. Claudio addressed the problems of the school.
So for number three question for Miss Kathleen Gregorio, could it have been better if she addressed the problems all by herself?
No, it won't be better because involvement and co-ownership of the people, both of external and internal stakeholders, are important and necessary to better address the problems within the school instead of just dealing it all by herself. We are talking about the welfare of the school, and being the school head does not necessarily mean that you do all things all by yourself. And in order to better assess the situations in school, you need to consult the opinions of other people within the school. Remember, it's not only the problem of the school head, but of all the people involved in the organization or the school. There's no way she can do better in executing all the remediations just by herself. As we went through the ways on how they assess, plan, and act to solve the problems, it needs a lot of heads and hands. And the school head needs the opinions and assessment of the faculty and the members of the planning team to formulate and execute the plans and actions to remediate the problems. Through the key people inside and even outside the school, such as the community and the government, the problems will be addressed with full support and guidance of other people. If she addressed the problems all by herself, then the stakeholders would feel and involved in the executions of actions on the problems. So, there is no co-ownership, and if this will happen, the school head will not receive the expected support and effort from the stakeholders. The problems will only be stagnant and improvements hard to achieve. So, not involving the community can lead to failure of leadership. A school will not improve if the members or the people involved in it are not aware of the status of their school.
Okay, we are down to number 4 question for Miss Lemana. So, what was the advantage of involving others in addressing the problems?
What was the advantage of involving others in addressing the problems? So, the advantage of involving others results in better performance on complex problem solving, and that means the involvement of administration and faculty staffs with the participation of the community addressed concerns efficiently and effectively. Involving others in addressing the problems can help the school head gather all the problems in the school from different point of views. It's very hard to pinpoint the problem with just only one eye working. On the other hand, collaborating with the stakeholders, community, and the government will enhance and improve more the programs and the activities that the school wants to do. With their support, effort, and assistance, the school will have a multitude of hands to solve the problems. Some may assist in the financial aspect, some may give physical efforts in the execution of the plans, some may provide better ideas to resolve issues and problems. So, it is therefore an advantage to collaborate with a lot of people to address problems in school.
So, for number 5 question for Nurfaiza Joe, was it a directive from the Office of the Superintendent or Regional Director the fastest solution to the problem?
Well, to address that question, directing problems in the school to the superintendent or regional director isn't the fastest way to solve the problem. Immediate actions to the problems are in the care of the school because the school who witnessed the problems have better understanding on how things went wrong and why such things happen. So by knowing all of the key reasons and the root cause of these problems, the school can now give immediate solutions for these. In contrary, superintendents and regional directors were not there to witness these things, and that is why it is hard for them to formulate solutions in the problems. But the school head can ask for their ideas and opinions on how to solve the problems as they are expert in the field of leadership and management. But as much as possible, the school head should do his or her best in addressing problems instead of involving the office of superintendent and or regional director. And when things go out of control, that's the time they can seek for the guidance of high-ranking officials and give them details to make effective measures.
So, thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts and learning. So, all of your answers were correct and very good for all of us. This is a manifestation that we have learned a lot from the interview that we have conducted. I hope that all the learnings that we have can be used for in our future as a future teacher and a future school head someday. Thank you, and I hope to work with you again. soon. Thank you and goodbye.